Hello and welcome to this week's, or in fact probably more accurately this month's Madaxeman podcast. This week there's only 5 of us and we're going on a road trip. Yes, we're having a good old chat about myself and Dave going to play ADLG in Germany in a castle on the Rhine, and all the places that we went on the way, and quite a lot of discussion about the beer that we had as well. There is, of course, Andy's quiz. If you've been hanging on the answers about Russian naval disasters from last time, you'll be delighted to know you can find out what's been going on. We do talk about painting, we do talk about what we bought, and we do have a bit of a chat about some other competitions as well. So sit back, get ready, and listen to the road trip.
This means war.
Well, we're back in part, I think. There's 5 of us here. We must be finding some ways of doing this, but there's 5 of us here. We've got Andy, Simon, Tamsin, and Dave. We're missing an Adam who may be out there in the ether. He might be plugging in his kid's iPad or something to do it, or maybe not. And we're probably missing Peter because he's involved in doing something desperately important involving, I don't know, some sort of experiments on badgers, possibly.
I think he's getting his hair restyled and re-dyed.
Yeah.
He's got to get the full badger effect.
That could take some time.
Yeah,
that could take some time. There could be some badger hair. He may or may not appear later. We just don't know in terms of working from home. But with a month and a bit since the last one, we thought we'd better kind of reconvene. And there's all sorts of stuff been going on. And in the usual fashion, with only 5 of us, and I'm pretty sure quite a few of us have not been doing too much on the old painting front. But let's start with Andy. What, since we last reconvened, is there anything that's hit your kitchen table side painting deck or whatever?
Well, I'm trying to paint the museum hoplites using the Army Painter speed paints.
Okay,
and
all right.
I'm struggling to find a colour to do the linen type cuirasses. Might have to give up on that idea and just use proper other manufacturers' paints.
Old school paint with colours on it and layers and things.
Yeah, that's right. I also don't have a black one, so I might have to just a very thin black wash to try and do the Paterges, because I find them very tricky to do. Apart from that, the only other major excitement, apart from going out and playing games at the club, is that I managed to persuade the missus to let me do my Escape from Egypt game with the 28mm Egyptians and Biblical Horde. And that went well.
Is this something that we should be talking about in polite company? Is it a euphemism of some sort for your house?
No, definitely not. No.
How do you play this game? Where do you play this game? What happens?
Well, okay, right. Well, we have in the Passover, which you've probably heard of, it's a Jewish festival. We celebrate the freedom, liberation from Egypt, which led to the 10 Commandments and stuff. So
okay.
we
this is
try
the
and pick
parting
up
the Dead
theme.
Sea stuff, is it?
Red Sea, but yes.
Red Sea, Dead Sea, all the same, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a story about the liberation from Egypt. So I thought there's a ritual meal and there's readings and some scriptural stuff, but I thought I'd jazz it up a bit. So what I did was we made a pedestrian crossing and miniature figures, which I'd painted up. And the idea was each of the participants had one of these and they had to escape from Egypt and get across. And
the pedestrian crossing, as it was a metaphor for the Red Sea.
Yeah, Red Sea crossing. Yeah, so right, okay. Red Sea pedestrians crossing.
Yes.
So basic idea was, because they talk about non-war gamers, they each had a figure and they had to get across and not get caught by the Egyptian chariots or eaten by the crocodiles. And it was all a bit of a laugh.
Okay,
but it worked.
Right. It actually worked. And is that what they told you at the time, or should we get them on?
No. I mean,
to review this game.
You want to try and publish this?
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. It's probably got a niche once a year audience, but then again,
indeed, yeah. So if I can find a way of doing it cheap, so people can buy this little box set and we visit out once a year. So yeah.
Well, then again, we probably all bought rules.
You could take it along as a club game to one of the shows.
Yeah, because let's be honest. There's a Jewish holiday of some sort pretty much every week, isn't there? There must be one that coincides with a show.
Thing is, when it coincides with the show, I'm not free to go. That's the.
Oh, I see. Yeah. yes, it's a catch-22. It's you are the Yossarian of Judeo wargaming.
Something
if
like
you
that, yeah.
Something like that. Excellent.
I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Yes, go. Yes, indeed. Yeah, and I think he had plenty of hair, possibly. But Dave, what about you? You've been Mr. Workout. Oh no, you've been Mr. Aztec, haven't you? We've seen a bit of stuff on Instagram. This is a purchase.
Yeah, I thought I'd give myself a break from painting the Gentlemen of the 9 Years' War and try to reinstate my enthusiasm for that little project. So I've painted a lot of Aztecs.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Aztecs.
And was this one of these ready-made armies that we cooked up for?
Yeah, it's one of your armies that you designed for Fighting 15.
Okay, all right.
I got one of those to sort of test it out because the Gladiator miniatures, which I sort of like overlooked for quite a long time, they're actually really quite nice figures.
Yeah. And
Gordon's been painting a lot of them. They look really, really good. So I thought I'll get some of those to look at. And it's turned into a whole army. But I've not used it yet. It will be ready actually by next week, I think. I can probably feel the whole army next week. So I've really enjoyed it, painting little eagle warriors and jaguar warriors. And
Are you hand painting the shields or decals?
I've hand painted them.
Wow.
If only there was a competition you could use them at.
Well, I'm thinking BritCon, Tim.
That could be it, could you? You could wheel them out for BritCon.
Can't we have them in the early period rather than the late period?
I've no idea. Did I set the theme for that or something?
I don't know. Wasn't there some talk of like having?
I would imagine they're in the early period, aren't they, or something? Who knows? But so how? Because that army pack is whatever it is, 30 quid or something, 40 quid.
40, I think it knocks them out for you.
40 quid gets
40
you.
quid.
Gets you most of the army. You still need a couple of. Some filler packs. I needed a filler pack with Jaguar warriors. I mean, essentially, you need
an army in a pack.
It's a big army. It's 29 bases.
Wow!
It's the difficult thing.
It's a lot of medium sword. So.
Yeah, I was going to say that's we. I think we've often laughed at somebody in our club who's color coded his Aztecs in the past, but in some ways, you need to colour code them for the benefit of your opponent, so they know which ones are medium sword impact elite, which ones are just medium sword.
Who's got the atlatl? Yeah,
sword with an atlatl.
It's like dudes with feathers, really, isn't it? And crazy outfits, and they're all the dudes with feathers and crazy outfits.
Well, I've got me Sean one there. That these are the little they're the Krawatschek.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Look, there's the shield. Look,
you've got some pretty strong yellow on those as well, which we've had discussions about yellow. What was did you go back to some of the old podcasts and work out how to
the little onesies they're wearing is a sort of like
hold them still, Dave, and hold it up slightly. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, that's good.
Now.
Yeah,
the little shield. So that they're the little guys with Mohicans. They're the sort of like crazy. They're elite, impetuous. And you can tell they're elite because they've got a little
thing.
Stand.
It's like a big artichoke on a stick.
Yeah, they're not too difficult to look, and I've actually done the field properly as well.
Nice.
And all that.
I think it's not so much the artichoke. That's the grape, holy pineapple.
And
holy pineapple of Antioch.
Mendoza. And then, so any of the elites have all got little flags, little banners.
Okay.
Here's a load of.
So is the next person who buys one of these armies going to get the Aztecs then, or something? Is that or to be?
Those are Aztecs.
Those are Aztecs. Sorry.
Looking at
Tlaxcalan or the Incas then.
Tlaxcalan.
Tlaxcalan.
I did look once at toying with the idea of buying a Mayan army simply because they've got a strategist called Smoking Frog, which I quite like the idea of.
Okay. No, but say, Dave, those yellows have come out really well. What super secret technique did you use? Or
flat yellow, Vallejo flat yellow.
Just flat yellow.
Yeah.
No mixing of anything clever in it.
Over white or
what?
Over white or
over white? Yeah, over white. Mostly over white. Yeah, that's there's some more silly stands with the flags on them.
Oh, they're grand. They're really colourful. That's
they really are. They've come out really well. I'm really pleased with them.
No, it's an army you can love when it inevitably loses, I think.
I think the general's the best thing though. There's these little
on a palanquin, is it? Or Yes,
No,
he
no,
is.
he's got a little.
Oh, he's got a massive head.
Yeah, and he's got a little tiger. He's got little teeth on his mask.
Yeah, it's sort of giant wooden sort of
Yeah.
helmet
Wooden
masks.
helmets.
Yeah.
With,
He's kitted out for the carnival by the looks of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah,
he's
so
got
you
a
didn't do
banner.
even with back banners. Then.
Yeah, he's got a back banner. He's got a back banner. Look, he's got a flowery back banner.
Wow.
Oh right, yeah. So yeah.
Yes, that's an explosion in a 1970s disco factory, isn't it?
It is.
Really,
That's
that
why
is.
they were part of the fun. So I need 2 tins to carry the bastards.
Oh God, there's that many. I suppose they've all got.
And also, I haven't got a clue whether to use the atlatl or not to use the atlatl.
Try
do
both,
atlatl
see
or
what
not.
happens.
Yeah.
So we'll find out, I think.
Yeah,
I think
have to
it's
get them
too
on
early
table.
to decide to take it to Rome and get completely trashed.
Yeah.
Right, try it against Heavy Knight to see what happens.
Exactly. Knights might be a little bit of a problem. Here you go. Look, there's some crazy shields.
More geezers.
Oh yeah, those are nice.
Okay. All right.
They could be
Intriguing.
better.
Very good. Well, a whole army since we last spoke. That's
Now
pretty
I'm
good
going to
going.
go back to little black armor, blackened armor cavalry and things like that, because I've got to get those finished for July, because somebody else wants to play with them in July.
She wants to play them at devices. All right. Well, look, in terms of enormous amounts of painting or speed painting, but Tamsin, were you hinting that you maybe have not done a gazillion things in the last month? You've just got some specific things which are done or highlights or something like that.
Yeah, pretty
Oh
much.
no, here we go.
Here we go. All right.
Just a load of terrain. I add some additions to my sort of Mega City 1 collection.
Okay. All right. Those are cute. So
Yeah.
we've got
So
overhead walkways, and are
Yeah.
these TT combat stuff or
yeah, this is all TT combat stuff. So
Yeah,
overhead
lovely.
walkways, some street lamps.
street lamps? That's really going for it.
I was looking at those street lamps, thinking, are they some type of flyer marker where you'd have your
Light stand. Yeah.
yeah,
So
you
did I.
grab bikes or grab fatties or something?
Some pair of bus stops,
Bus
Mm.
shelters.
bus shelters.
Wow, with etched glass in them. It's not been smashed yet.
It's acrylic, so
Okay, yeah.
security
Bounce off it.
security office and gates.
Hmm. So how many
Nice. Food kiosks.
square feet or how many square feet of Mega City 1 could you cook up, do you think? Now
At the moment, about 3 by 3.
it would be pretty densely populated with equipment and
Yeah.
things like that, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
We've got
Okay.
those. And some fences.
Yeah, and that's flexible fences and
Oh,
And
look at that.
a couple of years ago, I bought a load of street sort of street tiles
street
from
tiles. Yeah.
a Polish company called Multiverse Gaming.
Hmm.
Assembled them, and then they've been sat around waiting to be sort of painted.
Yeah.
Since got on, did those. So got 6. This photo, you got 6 street sections.
Yeah.
This one, you got 1 street section and 6 sort of
City sections.
Plaza.
where it's- yeah, plaza
Yeah.
sections.
other sections where you
Okay.
put buildings and stuff.
And these are what, a foot square or
Foot square.
foot square, okay.
30 centimetres square.
oh, they're a foot square then. So you've got 12
Yeah.
square feet of this stuff then. Not 3 by
Not
3, 12
13.
square feet. 13
Yeah.
square feet of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
You probably need a load of road signs.
Yeah.
Have you seen the next? Are you anticipating the next slide here, Andy? Yeah.
Sort of that, and those tiles have been put back into a box.
Okay. So
So that's it.
does that say a 35 XL really useful box? So most of the rest of us are dicking around with like 8s and 9s and things and 4s. And you're like, no, bosh, 35 straight in there.
35 XL for those.
Done.
It's the only way to get
Sorted.
them to fit in.
No,
That
for
number.
sure. Definitely. That's grand. Wow. No, that is fantastic.
Yeah, and working on some more terrain buildings this time.
Hmm.
At the moment.
Okay. All right. So no more chindits in the jungle or anything like that? Or
No,
no, it's just been urban construction.
it's just been urban construction.
Fantastic. Okay. All
This
right.
means war.
Simon, what about you? Although you've been away, haven't you? Did you manage to do any shopping in Eureka Land when you were there? Or
No, I literally had absolutely no time to go do any shopping, which was a real shame. So you'll probably need to sit down for the amount of painting that I've done.
Okay.
3 bases worth.
3 bases worth. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I've started painting up the Arab conquest army that I got from Forged in Battle.
Yeah.
So just starting to paint the first couple of units to give me an idea of the color scheme for different style of Arab armies I could do with, and just trying to go for a lot more color in the army rather than drab cottons, greys, and things like that. Yeah, it's like could do that. So I've decided to go for a lot of the contrast paints of greens, blues, purples, reds, and just sort of maddish colors. I think it'll be far more interesting on table rather than beige.
Yeah, that's easy. That's a risk with Arabs, isn't it? They just end up pretty beige if you're not careful.
Yeah, and when you've got the turbans, the Bedouin, the robes, and all that, they sort of do scream out and say, "Paint me with a bit of color, because go on, let's have a bit of fun."
Yeah. Okay. All right. And how are you finding those figures? Are they are they taking the contrast paints well, or is that just a thing that contrast paints just does, and you're drifting towards them a bit like we talked about last time?
I'm giving the contrast paint a go because I've not really used them before. So I've got 4 or so paints. So I've got a nice red, green, and blue. They come over really nicely. The purple's quite watery, so I think
isn't it? Yeah.
I have to go about 3-4 times to get any proper amount of color.
Yeah. Have you tried sort of really stirring it around at the bottom? Because I noticed with the ones that I've got that the sediment really does, or the pigment, I guess, really does sink to the bottom quite a lot. And if you stir them up, you can get quite a lot more out of it.
I've been using the martini shaker concept. Get a good proper.
No, I do that, but I still think there's some of the stuff sinks to the bottom.
Okay, I'll give that a try.
It stirs up, which is a bit weird for those sorts of things, but
the forged and battle figures so far seem to be quite good. There's just enough detail to pick up different textures and all that. And I've been doing the turbans and the headscarves and all that, and they come up quite nice with the contrast paints because there's enough detail in there. They pick it up, and you can get some quite good detail so far. There's been good detail on the beads, because often beads on 15 mil is this
like
clump.
Black.
Yeah. These ones here you can actually see a bit of texture, being that many of them have a proper bead on them. So.
Well, that's good news, because so actually I've had a couple of calls from Wendy at Forged in Battle, because they're now sponsoring BritCon. They're providing prizes for a load of the competitions and doing some other stuff for us as well, which is great. And she was like, you are going to make sure that you mention us on everything as often as you can. So, Forged in Battle, wonderful. We're all over that stuff. They're doing a great job, fabulous set of people. And in fact, I've actually got totally coincidentally a load of their stuff here, because since we last spoke, I've managed to paint. I've been inspired by the trip that we're going to talk about, and I've managed to paint an entire Carolingian army that I had kicking around for about a couple of years. It started off as buying some Bowida figures when the guy at Bowida was throwing his toys out the pram and saying he might stop, and I thought actually I should buy some and see what they're like, because they are a bit pricey. And I think I'd had 4 bases of the mounted archers, which count as charging cavalry, but they were archers or something, which is too many. And then I'd never had the rest of the army, because I thought I could try and use some other figures, and then I just thought, no, it doesn't bloody work. They're not the same. So then I bought the entire rest of the army, because I really had 3 bases to start with, and bought the whole rest of it. So I'm sat here looking at 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, and another 8. I'm looking at 23 bases of heavy cavalry, 6 bases of heavy infantry, 4 bases of light foot, 2 bases of light cavalry, and three sets of generals, which are all an extremely colourful-tastic set of these guys here, which will hopefully
probably covered most of the options, I'm guessing.
No, God, that's completely nailed it. It's like there's sort of I've used the Bowida cavalry for the kind of they have some sort of drilled cavalry from the Carolingian one, because they're all a bit similar. There's not a lot of dynamism in the Bowida ones, and then I've used the Forged in Battle ones, which are sort of shorter and stumpier, but more different types for the impetuous ones and put in a mix of armored and leather armor and metal armor for the mediums and the heavy. So there's a lot of variety in there, and they just about work together, but the difficulty is the horses are quite different. So you can't put a forged in battle guy on a Boweder horse because the Boweder horse is way too skinny, and you can't put a Boweder guy on a forged in battle horse because you can't even really bend the legs. The Boweder guys are almost like a V shape, and the forged in battle ones are a kind of a curved arch that sits around the horse. So the horses are totally incompatible, and do look a little bit different. So I've got mostly the drilled cavalry as Boweder, and the other ones as forged in battle, and then pretty much all the infantry are different types of Boweder guys. And I've done them with a lot of contrast paints, which, you know, it looks great, but it looks like it's been painted with contrast paints, if that makes sense. And yeah, I like it, and it was so bloody quick. You know, they got done in a matter of a few weeks, and the army really rattled along. And I did some shield transfers from Little Big Man, but it still slightly niggles me that I've not painted them properly. I sort of feel like I've cheated, and it maybe what I'm trying to say, really, they look a bit like what other people's armies look like when other people have painted them with contrast paints. Maybe that's it. Maybe contrast paints, because the colors palettes there and the way they look, is that they give a style all of their own. It's basically like a slightly shit version of Zac Painter. And I've seen other people posting contrast painted figures online. Nick Gaukroger does loads of stuff, and his are contrast paints. And again, they look great, but they look like they've been painted with contrast paints. And
too colourful.
Sorry?
Are they too colourful? Are they too bright?
No, I don't think they're too colourful. It's the fact they are a wash, sort of halfway between a wash. So you undercoat them white, you hit them with contrast paints, and then they're sort of 90% done. And it's that same set of colours and that very distinctive wash, halfway wash paint style that it gives it. Whereas if you're painting with normal paints, you know, do you do black undercoat? Do you do white? Do you black line? Which colours do you choose? Whereas contrast, you seem to be choosing from a more limited palette, and they've got a more consistent look and feel to them that, you know, I wouldn't say my skill, because I don't think I'm a skilled painter.
I'd say that's true if you use them over a solid colour undercoat.
Yeah. What, so the artist to do something else?
What other people are doing?
Yeah.
I know you guys don't have airbrush. What you could do, prime in black or any other dark colour.
Yeah.
I'm guessing mostly using spray cans for priming.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, spray cans for priming. Yeah.
Get them black or dark brown or grey, any colour primer.
Yeah.
Then from above, at a slightly higher distance, just light coat with white or ivory or bone, or
so sort of spray down from on top. Yeah,
spray down from on top. Zenithal, because then you'll see a difference in how the contrast paint looks, because in the recesses and particularly underside, it will be dark. So the contrast paint will be more muted.
Yeah. Okay.
But over the white, it will look
it looks very distinctive, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that Spanish guy, the guy who paints
Zac Painter guy.
Is that Zac Painter? Yeah, I mean his style's quite distinctive. I think he's been doing it a long time, and his is very, very pale browns and things like that. And I think his look really good. They're very, very obviously his, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's almost like if there was a sort of, it feels like there's a cheaty way of doing stuff a bit like his, and you can get quite good so easily that then doing all that extra stuff that you've said, Tamsin, just feels like well, I guess for a lazy person like me, just trying to bang out an army quickly, is like, yeah, but why the fuck am I doing? You know, they're too easy and they're too different. Whereas when you were using normal paints, you always had your own style, because even though everybody was coming from the normal paints, because you had to paint them. Whereas these, I don't know, I'm just feeling that the style it forces you down is so distinctive and consistent for ease and for the way it goes on and all the rest of it, that I look at them and think someone else could have done this. Whereas I look at my other troops and I go, I did these and I'd recognize them. Whereas I wouldn't necessarily, you know, I'd recognize them if I saw them and bring them by 20 years later. I go, I did them. But these guys, I'm not sure I could tell if I did them. Really, but it's just a weird sort of feeling. But you know, it's great and it's good and the rest of it. But it does work. And then with non-contrast paints, I've done a few Fireflies, 3 of the Victrix Fireflies. I'm splitting a pack with a mate of mine from Thailand and sending the rest on to him as with part of some other stuff. And I've done those, which are great little kits. But the barrels are so thin on these 10mm or 1/144 scale Fireflies that I've broken one of them twice now. I've broken it literally while I've been talking to you. It's broken again. And it's going to get drilled out and replaced with a bit of brush bristle, I think, which will mean it doesn't have the gun break on the end, but it won't just break each time I look at it, which is
cut off the muzzle brake, drill into that, put it on the end of brush bristle.
Yeah, that's ideal, but the problem is the bloody barrel is so narrow. Actually, no, it's a different one that's broken. Jesus, that's 2 of them that are broken. I broke one earlier today, and then I've broken another one literally just now, picking it up to show you. So I think, yeah, they have to have some work done on them before I lose the 3rd one and can't remember how long they're supposed to be. Would be the problem. But other than that, they're fantastic kits, absolutely astounding for the 3-parter. But and I think that thing about Shermans and the Carolingians probably kind of takes us nicely onto to our road trip.
This means war.
Bit of music.
Should we cue some German heavy metal, like some Rammstein or
Rammstein,
Oomph or something like that? Yeah,
I think Rammstein's where Hubert's living at the moment.
Or some beer keller music.
Yes, some Umpa music.
Yeah.
So a few weeks ago, month or so ago, wasn't it? Dave, you and I managed to get sort of invited / applied to go to a German ADLG tournament on the Rhine, in the town of, never heard of it before, Braubach, we'd been to there before, Koblenz, and we ended up making a bit of a lads' war holiday out of it, really, didn't we? On the sly, which was a bit.
I don't think Braubach really can count as a town. It's more like a Disneyland village.
Yes, it absolutely is. Yeah,
like the Hansel and Gretel Disneyland village on the Rhine with a castle on the top.
Yeah, it was like every single house was half timbered, and I think they handed you a tuba or another Umpa band instrument when you crossed the city limits, and I think everybody went to bed about 7 o'clock, didn't they? And or they went off foraging for mushrooms in the hills with Heidi.
The Lederhosen.
Yes, the Lederhosen and the German field sports equipment. But it was kind of an epic trip, really. We because we didn't just kind of bang over there for the event and did it back. We left on, what was it, Thursday lunchtime or something?
Yeah, Thursday lunch. We were pretty lucky getting onto the tunnel, because everybody else got stuck in an 8-hour jam.
Oh yeah, it was when the M20 was shut, wasn't it? With all the lorry park, and my Teutonic sat nav managed to take us around the back streets of Kent and approach the tunnel from the other way with only about half an hour delay or something in the end, which was a bit bonkers. And then it was weird being in the terminal for the Channel Tunnel and being able to go and get duty free, But
yeah, I still find that a bit weird, disturbing. I mean, I've never been one for duty free since I've given up smoking anyway. So,
but nobody was at the terminal. That was it was like sort of
all the other war gamers were stuck between Bournemouth and
yeah.
I was going to say SE1, but it's not SE1.
No, it could be anywhere, wouldn't it? But no, it's very strange.
Queuing along the south coast, which was a damn shame, meant we could get across without any trouble at all.
Yeah, we snuck down the wrong lane. We probably got onto a train too quickly, and then we whizzed across out the other end and stopped in the First World War epicenter place of Mons. That I don't know if any of you have ever come across before or heard of it. It's
heard of it, not been there.
Yeah,
it's where the first and last battles of the British Army took place in the First World War.
Exactly.
Yeah, well done. That's a quiz. Well, you can do the quiz for knowing that, Andy. We'll let you run the quiz. That's good.
Thank you.
There was a documentary, a BBC documentary, which was repeated on PBS about the first fighting between the British and the Germans. There's a bridge over the canal just outside Mons, and there's the two first English VCs. Well, VCs were won on that bridge, and we went and found the officer. We didn't find the private officer. He's hidden away in the cemetery somewhere.
Yeah, there was this really unusual, or possibly unusual war. I've seen a few war cemeteries, quite a few, but this one was a garden cemetery on the outskirts of Mons that had been set up by the Germans during the war, and it had British and Germans in it at the time, and then I think the British had kind of taken it over and tidied it up a bit, and it sort of had an arboretum and a hill and things in circles and lines, and all the rest of it was it Canadian, British, and German in the end?
Yeah, I've never been to one of the World War I cemeteries, so I found it quite moving, actually. I mean, I think it had been designed for some sort of like 100-year memorial or something like that. So they'd obviously rebuilt it, and different tombstones for the British and the German were interesting. The German are very rugged, and the British are very marbly and that sort of thing. So it was quite convincing. Oh, there was also the very first victim who is buried there, who was a cycle reconnaissance soldier. He was sent off by the British and never seen again. Yeah.
Imagine being a cycle reconnaissance officer at the beginning of the First World War. It's like, on your bike, chap, off you go over there and
go and find the Germans, and if you don't come back, we know you found them.
Yeah, cycle to the sound of the guns. Yeah. And I think the last casualty as well was there as well, wasn't it? It was quite interesting. And after our night in the middle of Mons, which was I think when we decided not to go to one bar because it was ropier than the others. That was probably it. Although that's because it was called Le Ropier, so we knew it would be ropier than the other ones. And we eventually stumbled into about 1.5 kilos of mules and frites, and then more cheese and German sausage or Belgian sausage than could possibly be eaten by anyone. But
and also realizing that why the Belgians drink those small beers, because 6 of those gives you sort of a feeling in the morning that you've drunk 6 English crap pints.
Yeah. It was quite chunky. And
over the 4 days, I think I drank a lot of different beers, but I didn't drink the same beer twice in 5 days.
That's very easy in Belgium, isn't it?
It's really spectacular. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
If you want to you get the essence of First World War British in Belgium, the place to go is Ypres and see the last post ceremony, which they do every night, and they basically have a last post ceremony and read the affirmation and stop all the traffic. And they've done it pretty well every night since the First World War, apart from when the Germans ran the place in the Second World War.
Driving across Belgium is just one continuous. Oh, I recognise that name. I can't quite remember what battle happens there.
Yeah.
2 miles down the road. Oh, I recognise that name.
Yeah.
And there's all the sort of like French against the Dutch in the horse and musket period.
Oh, they're like, and what's his name? Duke of Marlborough's one, places like Oudenarde and
all those
things like that. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's and obviously you go past Waterloo as well.
Yep.
And we went past a town called Hervey.
Yeah. So we saluted our glorious El Creator on the way.
Exactly.
That was it. And more out of town industrial zones that we drove past than you can possibly imagine or shake a stick at.
Typical Belgian. We've trashed this place with industry over the last 200 years, so we'll just leave it behind as a ruin and might come back and think about it later.
It gave us a newfound appreciation for Charleroi, I think, and how that fits in from.
Wow, that's saying something, because Charleroi was unique.
Yes, yeah, I think what they're doing with Charleroi is I suspect there's other parts of Belgium are also requiring a similar sort of upgrade, and I think parts of Mons were possibly mid-upgrade because there was a few bits that have clearly possibly not survived COVID lockdowns particularly that well from keeping their businesses open. But then. From Mons and seeing the war cemetery, we then piled over the border, saw the roads improve almost as we moved out of Belgium into Germany. The road surface just improved overnight. Stopped and got the car washed very efficiently. There seemed to be like a load of car washes just over the border in Germany. And then I think there were just over the German border in Belgium, there were kind of like a load of sex discos or something, weren't there? So,
and if you went across the Dutch border, you probably get a load of dope shops. So.
Yeah, you probably get all of that. So, but Germans things obviously car washes. The Belgians don't do that themselves, which is a bit odd. And we drove around the inner ring road of Aachen for a while because Dave, you were kind of keen on going to Aachen, weren't you? It was your suggestion.
Aachen's been on my hit list of my bucket list of. Kind of as a Roman sort of thing, because I knew it was a Roman town, because you've got that whole string of Roman towns going up that. I mean that sort of area of Belgium into Germany was a very, very lively, very. The Roman Empire was kind of run from that part of the world in the late Roman period, and Aachen's an interesting sort of like it's like Bath in Britain. It's a bath town. It's got springs and that sort of thing. So and they've built well. It's hard. It's got a Byzantine style basilica cathedral, which was.
Well, it completely. You obviously knew it was there, and that's why we went. Yeah. I had not a Scooby, other than knowing it's the centre of this Charlemagne bloke who there's always an army list that should be quite good in every set of rules about him. And this cathedral is just unbelievable. I've done loads of cathedrals in Spain and the rest of it, but this one's just nuts. It's like every single surface has been tiled exotically to just make you as a whatever it be 11th century peasant just go, oh my God, I've never been anywhere like this before. It had it astonished me, and I'm not quite a 11th century peasant really, but it was still pretty astonishing. Just the whole thing.
Have you been to Hagia Sophia? Have you been to Istanbul?
I've been to Istanbul, but not to the Hagia Sophia. So but it was very Islamic though, wasn't it? The artwork was very Islamic in them.
It's actually Roman, which is what the Islamic nicked to some. So
okay.
Hagia Sophia is. It's Byzantine, isn't it? Really, it's very, very Roman, Byzantine style, where they have this basilica in an 8-sided room. And there's one very famous one at Ravenna, which has got mosaics of Justinian and his wife.
Yeah. Okay.
Theodosia and all those, and even possibly Belisarius. So I think the basilica in Aachen has been stolen from the one in Ravenna. It's been copied from that.
The design, yeah.
So the marble is original, and the marble. At some points, you're sort of going, "Oh, look at that marble," and then you have to refocus and go, "Oh, look at the mosaics," and then you have to refocus again and go, "Oh, look at the stained glass windows."
Yeah,
because they're sort of. The mosaics aren't original. I think they've been resurrected more
Probably.
recently, which is a
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah, because Aachen was pretty much levelled during World War II.
Well, I think the cathedral survived.
Yeah.
I mean, it hasn't been hit by that. But I think what they've done is in resurrecting it after the war, they've gone and looked at the walls and gone, oh look, there were mosaics here, and then they've put in very, very bright and incredible mosaics based on sort of late Roman, the ones from Ravenna and Istanbul and whatever. But they're just spectacular. I mean, I just took photo after photo after photo to sort of like.
Yeah, it was just bonkers, and you got Charlemagne's tomb in there, and his missus's casket, and all sorts of stuff, haven't you? It's just,
and it's where all the Holy Roman emperors were
crowned.
It's enthroned. People like Otto the First, he's the sort of real Holy Roman Empire, and things like that. And you got some beautiful German eagles on the back wall and things like that.
And there was that enormous, 10 meters across candelabra thing hanging in the middle that someone from an army list, Frederick Barbarossa, had given to someone else for their wedding present or something.
Frederick the Barbarossa is one of my favourite characters. He was born in Sicily, grew up in the Sicilian Norman palace where he had his own harem, and he wandered around with his catamites and was educated. And then when he became emperor of the Germans, he went to Germany, and the Germans were like completely freaked out by the fucker. Whoops, shouldn't be swearing.
No.
He wandered around with all his harem, and he travelled with a pair of leopards and things like that, and wore perfume, for God's sake, and all that sort of thing.
Did he drown crossing a river? Is that the guy I'm thinking of?
I can't remember, but I know the Pope declared him the Antichrist, and he sort of played up to that by.
Well, if you've ever had that done, you'd be quite proud of it, wouldn't you? That would go on. Well, I was going to say that would go on your tombstone, but they probably wouldn't give you a great tombstone, really. But yeah, something that Frederick Barbarossa had given someone as a wedding present was pretty mental. Yeah. And then we went for lunch in the Rat House. Yeah, I had indistinct German meat stew with dumpling, which was great. And then Dave Allen turned up by accident. Yeah, that was Arab WhatsApp, which was bizarre.
Yeah, we were messaging on WhatsApp, and he read the WhatsApp while he's on the train, saying, "Oh, by the way, I'm just passing Aachen, and you're in Aachen. Why don't you pick me up?"
Yeah,
that was funny.
Yeah, so he jumped off the train, and we gave him a lift the final way to the wonderful town of Braubach, or the tiny town of Braubach, which we're staying in kind of a hikers B&B, I guess.
Yeah,
hill walkers B&B, probably.
Hikers, wasn't it? It was a stop off on a march along the Rhine. Sort of.
Yeah, if you were wearing lederhosen and one of those funny hats, and you had sausages in your backpack, you would stop at this place, and that would be your stop on the way. And then we ate more schnitzel than any man has ever seen.
Yeah, and drank a load more different beer.
Yeah. With all the German
beer, as we know, I like my Heffenstefano, or I've forgotten what they've even told me.
But with all the German players who used to be sixth edition players and up until quite recently, which astonished me because I thought sixth was only played in 25 mil, but they used to play it in 15 mil, and there were loads of them, and they'd come from all over Germany, and they're all staying in this tiny town where they always gather, kind of like migrating salmon coming up the Teutonic salmon coming up the Rhine to play toy soldiers by the banks of the Rhine in Braubach, because there's a castle there, and why not? So I think I had a schnitzel that had basically a full English breakfast on top of it. It came with like bacon and eggs and fried tomatoes. It's just like completely bonkers. And you couldn't get.
I'm guessing it wouldn't have been a safe place for me then.
I think I'm sure the side salad would have been entirely fantastic for you. And then we all schlepped up the hill and played 2 days of ADLG just on the in the I guess the guest dining room of a big German castle overlooking the Rhine.
It's a very beautiful dining room.
Yeah, really nice. Amazing views. Good games. You managed to play. Did you play 5 Germans or 4?
I played. No, I had to play Dave Allen at one point, didn't I?
Okay, did you play the Spanish chap as well?
I think I played. Did I play? No, I don't think. No, I didn't get to play him. I played.
Okay.
I played Pablo Suarez. I think he's Italian, Spanish, or something.
Okay. Yeah.
I played him in Alicante. He's a rising star, I have to say. He's
a good lad. Yeah,
a very good player. But now I've played at least 3 Germans, which was great. It was really good. Looking forward to them getting their own part of the forum sorted out. And,
yeah,
that'd be good. I thought they were very, very. There was no. I mean, Jens, I played in the last game. I was getting a bit tired by that point. Jens knew the rules better than I did, which is not unusual. Especially as I was playing with an army I don't really play with.
Oh, excuses.
They were excuses.
Yep.
I think they're sort of like many more years of playing just any old war games was very, very effective. They were. It's often happens with me, and when I'm playing sort of DBM or people who've played other sets of rules, you find they do the terrain differently, and it just throws you off your strides to what we're used to, and effectively done. I mean, he had a medium infantry army, which completely was what I had no idea what to expect, and it was quite funky. And I can't remember the guy who ran the competition, the teacher, I can't remember his name, but he gave me a very close run as well. That was a very good game.
Yeah, no, that's good. And then so we all had a meal up on top of the castle, went back down, played a second day of gaming. They actually had some great low alcohol beer as well, which was almost they seemed to have got it sorted. It was kind of Erdinger, almost wheat beer, but non-alcohol. So because I was having to drive, because nobody could have walked up the hill to the mountain and survived, I don't think, to play in the castle. I was on the 0 alcohol beer, but it actually didn't feel like a hardship. But then, so at the end of the event, which Dave Allen won, good old Dave, we threw him onto the train at the station, and then we drove back to Belgium to go to Bastogne, home of Bastogne, wasn't it? That was Bastogne,
home of nuts.
Home of nuts, and absolutely the home of nuts. Yeah, we listened to a couple of podcasts on the way about it, so we sort of knew a bit more about it when we were there. And we did go to, in fact, we had a very bizarre Airbnb that was just off the town square and was sort of above an architect's studio or something, wasn't it? With very weird murals on the wall. Mine had an enormous mural of Dubai.
And I got Granny's room with the mural of Rome of the Vatican. The pink granny bedroom.
The pink granny bedroom. But the great thing was it was like literally steps away from the town square. So you came out the door, turned left, walked 10 yards, and you tripped over a Sherman tank, which you can't get better than that. And we had to...
Did you break the gun on it, Tim?
Oh, possibly. I don't think it was a Firefly. I think it was a normal one, and they're normally okay. They're just a bit thicker. But
it had some original battle damage.
Yes, it did, didn't it? Yeah, yes, it had a big hole in the back of it. And we did go to the Nuts bar,
yes.
Which wasn't particularly nuts. I don't think they were having a particularly nutty night, but had lots of...
You had some airborne para beer in an American helmet.
Yes, yeah, with some Belgian airborne beer that you came in a ceramic American paratroopers helmet that you had to drink out of, which was... Well, if you're in Belgium, in Bastogne, what are you going to do? And then the next day we went to the museum there, which was, I thought it was new. It's one of those new museums. They've done well.
Yeah, it's really good. Really, really good.
It wasn't, piles and piles of kit. I think there was if you're talking tanks, there was a Hetzer, a Sherman that had a big hole knocked in it, and a Schwimmwagen. That was about the only vehicles really, wasn't it? But there was just loads of other interesting stuff that gave you a real picture of what went on.
There was a good storyline for kids running through it with some characters and things like that.
Yeah.
and the headset thing, which was tastefully done. It didn't feel like, if you've got the headset, you're the person who's really sort of taking it seriously and the others aren't.
Yeah.
And it was really, really good. And there were some poignant moments in there as well. There was some good stuff on refugees.
Yeah, it was actually almost a museum of Belgium's war, wasn't it? Not just Bastogne, which I didn't expect.
And there's some good bits on Belgian history at the start, with things I knew about the Belgian king abdicating and things like that.
Yeah, because they were they? I'm trying to remember. Were they sort of flirting with communism or flirting with fascism and all sorts of things? It was just
they've always had that sort of problem.
Yeah. But at the start of the Second World War, there was all sorts of things going on. So it was really well done, and even the sort of sonnet lumiere bits that you kind of shuffled in and sat down to. Good.
That was a bit weird with the.
It was a bit weird, but they weren't as shit as they could have been.
No, I've seen worse. I've seen definitely worse.
Yeah. And then from there on, we jumped back in the car and drove back to. Next morning we drove back to the coast and stopped. We were going to stop somewhere for lunch at random, and we drove past this town, because all the towns in France and Belgium have got these big signs on the motorway going, "This town is famous for this shit." And we were going past Namur, that I don't think either of us have heard of. And it had a big castle. You've been?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a siege in about the 17th century?
Yeah.
God, we should have phoned you. We should have phoned a friend. You all know it, and we don't. Somebody else tell me about it. Why do you know it, Simon?
And found out that it was William of Orange before he became William and Mary of England.
Why did you go there, Simon, from all the way from Australia? What made you pick Namur?
Well, I was wandering around Belgium as you do.
Yeah.
No, but we spent a week in Belgium after Charleroi, and
okay, of course, it all comes back to Charleroi.
Yeah, so we decided to visit that top part of Belgium.
Yeah.
So we drove through Namur and Mons and a few of the other places.
Okay.
Just because it was there
Mons as well.
Yeah, and we went down to one of the Crusader castles where one of the princes, got a whole bunch of mates, went down to the Holy Land for a bit of a carnage and pillaging.
Okay.
So it was one of those iconic castles up on top of a cliff and all that, with eagles and falcons. But yeah, we spent a couple of days in Namur. It's quite nice.
That castle on top of their mountain is just unbelievably vast, isn't it? It was just like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
It was just insane. It's just because it's the confluence of two rivers, and on the bit where the two rivers come, there's a big lump of rock.
Yeah.
On the top of it, there's a castle that could have probably housed the entire Belgian army.
Yeah,
we roamed around for half an hour looking for anything that was open, really, and barely found it. That was it.
Yeah, we had a good one. Being a war gamer, you see that fortress and go, I'm just going to have to do some research. And we spent most of the day wandering around that, and we found a pub nearby and had just a couple of pints to rehydrate. Good.
Yeah, we had a good
fortress that you don't get in Britain.
Yeah,
because I mean, I've been to Chinon and a lot of the Loire chateaux and things like that, but this place, being sort of that 16th, 17th century fortress, star fort, sort of like huge thing, and I think it's been advanced since the First World War, but something like that is enormous.
Yeah, I think they'd only kind of moved out of it in the late Napoleonic era or something. The military was still there for most of the time.
Yeah, when you look at some of those big fortresses, quite a few of them were used up and past the Napoleonic War. So you can see they've been made into officer barracks, and quite a few of them have had various places redone for artillery storage, or gunpowder. Occasionally, the gunpowder's gone off for a great Friday evening.
Yeah, bit of a problem. Yeah, and it looks a really nice town as well. I think if we were doing another trip that way, it might not be a bad place to actually stay, because I think the nightlife in Mons was, well, maybe it was just the time of year or stuff, and it seemed to leave a little bit to be desired. Anywhere with a bar called the Ropier, I think is sending you quite a big message. But but Namur looked like a really kind of cracking. There you go. Yeah, that's a picture of that bridge, and from the top, and it's so bloody high, isn't it? It's just nuts. Yeah, and the whatever it is, the Parliament of Wallonia is there, which is always a good thing. You know, everybody needs a little bit of Walloonian Parliament in their life. So yeah, that was it was quite a trip, given that we saw like 4 or 5 different towns in a way, and it was only about 2 days extra on top of the weekend.
As we're invited again, we'd like to go back.
Oh God, yeah, no, absolutely. No, it'd be grand fun. I think we'd
it's really great having a whole nother nation of ADLG players to go and meet, and hopefully I think some of them were thinking about coming to Rome, so that would be good.
I think some are already booked in. Yeah. No, definitely.
Hoover was coming, wasn't he? Yeah.
No, it's good. I'm writing the battle reports as we speak. I've got a load of photos of the road trip, and then I'm just about most of the way through the second tournament report on that one. But so no, that was our road trip to, let me think, Mons, Braubach, Bastogne, and Namur, and we played toy soldiers in the middle of it. So you know, I think the whole idea of going away for a wargaming weekend and combining it with a load of other stuff is pretty bloody good, really.
This means war.
So look, that was a competition in Germany, but there's been 2 other competitions since then that some of us have been part of. And I guess the first one was roll call, in which 4 of us took part, didn't we? And Simon, me and you even played, which is remarkable, isn't it? And Dave and Andy, Andy, were you there as well? Did you go?
No, I didn't play. I was a list checker.
You were a list checker for that, so you got the vibe on everything. So so then, Dave, how was your roll call experience? Did you manage to take feudal Spanish to it, or did I manage to write a period that stopped you?
So many competitions, I'm actually sitting here going, oh, that's right, I use Korean. I use 3 Kingdoms Korean. Okay. So I'm taking a zip out of your page and trying to use some weird different armies and things. Very unsuccessfully. But I thought the Koreans were going to be a tragedy, having been... I had a couple of practice games against Richard Case before I went and got thrashed twice. But you know, at least in the first game, I knew what to expect with a patrician army, which I think I lost to.
You expected to get thrashed, and you succeeded.
Yeah, and then at least I knew what the score was going to be. And then I won a couple of games, and then I lost one. I think it was about par for the course. It was all right. It was a funky, different army. It just made a change from taking late Roman or Byzantine, or there were some pretty obvious choices in that competition there. And funnily enough, those obvious choices won the competition.
Okay, that worked quite well.
That was right.
Yeah. Well, Simon, you took the slightly tiny Chinese with the lightweight army in 28s.
Yeah, so I brought my my massive 20mm Chinese army to the big 28mm period, so they were feeling quite short, which I think is probably why they've been stonked so many times. So I managed to end up mid-table mediocrity with some cracking games. I think your game and my games probably came down to almost legendary for my Chinese general just not wanting to die.
That was there was so much nonsense in that game.
It was.
Do like a whole bloody thing.
So we had I had my Chinese, so the obligatory Chinese general on the heavy chariot included the full kit caboodle. Yeah.
And I really caught him out. I drew him forwards. He charged into someone. Okay, that was someone a bit squishy. I kind of gave him a tempting target. I think it was some like half and half bow swordsman or something nonsensey, which he took with gratitude.
Then you piled into his flank. He didn't die. You then piled into his front. He didn't die, and by then I recovered the disruption. The next time I recovered.
I must correct you that. I think I piled into the other flank. Someone in his front and both flanks, and he was still winning.
And then he recovered everything. He then piled into his rear
as well. Yeah.
Yep. And he then recovered that again.
Yeah, exactly.
And proceeded to kill people. Then I managed to find. Sorry.
Yeah. I had so many people committed to trying to kill this guy that your right flank force that had been miles away had time to walk up and start attacking the rear of my guys who were attacking your single general.
Yep.
And
I think by the end we worked out that one general had held on to for about 6 or so turns and held up about 8 of your units. And then when I managed to pile in, there was a shift in victory points of about 6 or 8 victory points in one turn.
No, I actually think it was double. I think it was double figures. That for killing that guy, in the process of killing him, I lost 10 or 11 victory points in the process of getting 3, which was just like, what the hell? But that wasn't. It would just come after your, bulletproof medium cavalry crossbow.
Yes. Yes. The medium cavalry. So we had
I had a Syrian, so I like elite heavy cavalry bow, medium cavalry bow, light cavalry bow. It's quite a mobile army. Some of it was whizzing around your flank straight away, wasn't it? And what did you have to protect it?
So I had a massive light horse bow and a medium cavalry crossbowman. That was it on the flank, and there was a couple of skirmishes in an ambush, but nothing of significance. So you came tearing down. I disrupted your light horse in turn 1. I think the light horse got killed a turn later.
Yeah.
Then your heavy cavalry and your medium cavalry came piling around to resolve the issue.
Yeah. Got comprehensively outshot by a crossbowman.
Yes.
Of average capability.
Yeah. And even got to the point of when I was double cohesion down, proceeded to kill everything. Yeah. And then recover everything and start coming around the flank again. And it was
he
just
nearly ended up rolling up my flank, didn't he? In the end,
yes.
Bugger. It was just insane. It was just, an act of remarkable heroism for which I'm sure the People's Liberation Army will be eternally grateful.
Absolutely. So it was a cracking game. So
that was fantastic. Yeah. Really
I think we got down to about 3 or 4 minutes before time call, before my army finally said, "We've had enough now."
It was just done. Yeah, exactly. It's just like, go get back in the bleeding box, you bastards. It was it was a great game. It was really, really good. And it was a good little round robin 25-minute event actually as well, was it? Or near round robin, I think.
Yeah, it was a cracking game. Yeah. We basically got to play everybody. So it was just fun and enjoyable. So I don't think there was a single rules argument or barely even any rules queries. Everyone just got stuck in. I think we had.
I'm not even sure were there any unfinished games at all?
I think we may have one draw out of the. So there was what?
4 games, 20 games, maybe.
Yeah, 5. I think there were 4 or 5 tables. So yeah, we had one draw over the 5 games. So that's quite impressive. Everyone just got stuck in and just went, right, I'm in for this. So it was all good.
Get that sorted. Yeah, indeed. And then literally a couple of days ago, we had the Central London one-dayer as well, didn't we? Which was epic heavy metal all round. Which Andy, you were at this one.
Yes, I managed to avoid defeat. So I had a draw. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I had a draw, I had a mutual, and I had a win. So and in that order. So the day got my performance got better as the day went on, which was nice. And I played some really nicely painted army. That you're on the next table, but the Collins. Was that Low Countries Army?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely beautiful army.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic, wasn't it? It's some really good, because it was all wars of medieval France was the theme of it. So everything was a very small army and with loads of heavy metal, and there's lots of longbows and crossbow shooting. So things did get pinged quite a lot. But from my point of view, I managed to get my Swiss that I've been painting slowly and in steps for a number of years now onto table. Although I took the buy in the first round because I was kind of running it, so we had an odd number, and that was sort of my job. So I only got the 2 games, but both of them, the Swiss just marched across the table and did Swiss stuff to people, which was
did what the Swiss do. Yeah,
I think me and Daryl P.S. We were both surprised that our game lasted an hour. He stood there and tried to shoot me down before I charged in with Burgundian ordnance, and I didn't do that. So I just charged in and wasn't shot down, and then it was take them off in fistfuls. So, and Dave, what about you? How did you? What was your weekend?
I took the Kingdom of Navarre.
Oh,
Be completely different, because I thought no one is going to use that, and in a bit of homage to our good friend Iñaki, because he's from Navarre. And it was an entirely foot army of
wow.
4-spear, 7-foot knights.
That's super heavy metal. Yeah.
3 English longbowmen and 4 medium-foot impacts. It was a really good fun army. It got run over by heavy knights against Peter, but the other games it did remarkably well. It was a really fun army. The only thing I thought was, why was it so effing noisy last weekend on Sunday?
Yeah, it was very noisy, wasn't it?
We had 30 people in, 29 people in that space, which we've not had that many in for a long time.
Long time.
Really was,
that's definitely pre-COVID.
Yeah, it was really, really, maybe that's what it used to be all the time, and we've just gotten used to it.
A few weeks back, when I did the big King of the Battlefield game, 12 people in there, and it was a lot noisier with just 12 people than I remember.
Okay, maybe maybe because in the interim, I rather it's had sort of the outside bit is more roofed over now, so maybe that's maybe the sound comes back in. Or maybe there's like some sort of disco feedback thing. So when he's having a party there, he like records the sound, plays it back in, and it just builds the atmosphere up into a frenzy of excitement, a bit like it's like watching the FA Cup. No, possibly not.
It's the mirror ball in the room.
It's the mirror ball.
Definitely the mirror ball.
That could be it. And a cracking curry lunch as well.
But one of the things I was going to mention was that it was really noticeable that we played 2.5 hours or whatever, but there was literally 1 or 2 games weren't completed. Everybody was completing their games very, very quickly.
No, there were 4 games that didn't finish in the entire 14 games around. So in 42 games, there were 4 that didn't finish. And I think one of them was a couple of very new people, or the very newer players. So you sort of almost discount that. But with tiny medieval armies that have to
draw
each other, there's no running. They can't run away. They're all trying to fight and be better in combat, I think. So you're just fully committed. But yeah, there was, none of the games were really going to time. I think we could have, the games which were slow weren't affecting the top of the table. We probably could have called time at 2.25 hours. It wouldn't have made a difference. Every round was 2.5, because I was doing the timings for it. So yeah, it just really, really rattled through, which was great. And I guess in terms of rattling through, if we are rattling through the podcast, it's always time to rattle on to French, the death rattle of French techno.
Question, comment les voir? Question, le trou est sans fond. Question, la légende le dit. Question, elle dit aussi. Question, c'est une maladie. Question.
Yes, in a week in which we talked about driving across Belgium and ignored the fact that we had to drive across France to get there, and done a bit of Germany as well. We are into the French techno music heralding Andy's quiz. And as always, the first quiz question is, can we remember what the quiz was about last time? And anybody? Simon? No? Dave? Any clues?
Can't remember at all.
Tamsin, you're good at this.
Remember, it was Russian naval
disasters, was it?
Yeah, Russian naval mishaps. That's it. Yes.
Right. Well, I suppose at least that's still going on. That's still topical. They've still are disasters going on as we speak. So,
right. Okay. Well, just to recap briefly, the first question was, which of these mishaps has befallen the Russian aircraft carrier Admiral Kuznetsov? First one is a crew member died of carbon monoxide poisoning after a fire broke out. Second was, while it was having a refit in dry dock, the dry dock sank, sending a 70-ton crane crashing through the ship, or the ship caught fire during repair work at Murmansk.
All of them.
Correct.
All of them, all of the above.
Okay,
Yay.
right. Okay. The next one was about mishaps for the Russian fleet that sailed from the Baltic through to Japan in 1904-5. The first one was it got into a firefight with British trawlers in the North Sea because they thought they were Japanese torpedo boats, as you do. And one of its cruisers was shot out by 7 battleships, and the ship's chaplain was killed. Or the second one was, which may have happened, was as the fleet left Tangier, one of the ship's anchors snagged the cable and cut off communications between Europe and Africa for 4 days. Or was it that the second in command guy died en route, the fleet commander didn't tell anybody, so everyone was looking to this bloke for orders and he was dead during the battle?
All of them.
All of them.
Correct.
All of the above. Hooray!
Right.
I'm
And
seeing
the
a
third
theme
one,
coming here. Yeah.
and you've kind of, I think you've honed in on the theme here. I gave you the name of 3 Russian submarines and which one had caught fire, and of course the answer is
All of them.
All of them. Hooray! Well done. Good. There's one for the Russian Navy. I'll get my Russian military police admiral's hat out at one stage then for the next podcast, just to celebrate that one. Right, on with the music.
Comment les entendre? Question. Comment les voir? Question. Le trou est sans fond? Question. La légende le dit? Question. Elle dit aussi? Question. C'est une maladie? Question.
Oh, the sound of techno. So Andy, what this month are you going to delight us with? I nearly said inflict, but I remembered that I need to be polite. What's coming our way this month?
Well, music is quite appropriate because this week is the time when there's a NAF competition listened to by people all over Europe. But quite apart from my quiz, there's also the Eurovision Song Contest.
Oh, yeah.
So the theme this week is Eurovision Siege Contest. And I'm going to give you 5 years. And in each year, there was a siege at a city which has since hosted the Eurovision Song Contest. And you just got to say which city it was. So
it's a beyond complicated question, but the answer is
no, it's not. No,
there's a city, there's a siege, there was the Eurovision Song Contest there.
I'm going to give you five years.
5 years.
Yeah. Each one, there was a siege. And the city that was besieged has since hosted the Eurovision Song Contest.
Right. Okay.
You
So
just have to tell
5
me what
years.
city
We
it
name
was.
this. 5 years, and we name 5 sieges.
Correct. Yes, that's
Right.
it. Right. So the first one, 1187.
This is
1187. I'm trying to think. Did the Eurovision Song Contest hasn't run in northern Syria,
No, it's
has
all
it? No.
afterwards. Yeah,
Fine.
they all preceded these song
Fine. Yeah.
contests
Okay.
by some years. Next one is 1382. So somewhere was besieged in 1382, which has subsequently held the Eurovision Song Contest.
Okay.
Yeah. Next one is 1529.
1529. So that's going to be.
I'm writing
What?
them down. I'm not sure.
You're
quite
writing them down. Are you going to try? Have you got to look in your wide collection of books?
Got to
behind you,
Google it.
Dave?
Yeah. Right. Next
Or
one is
is
1717.
1717. So that's 18th century, then, isn't it? That's
Yep.
starting to be funny hats.
And then that last one is 1936.
1936. Did they have the Eurovision Song Contest instead of the Olympics? Was Jesse Owens involved? No,
No, he wasn't besieging anywhere.
he wasn't besieging anywhere.
1936 has got to be somewhere in Spain, hasn't it?
Mhm.
Well, anyway,
Depends, doesn't it? Yeah,
those
possibly,
are the
yeah.
questions. I mean,
Okay.
if you want the answers tonight, give me answers now. Otherwise, we'll leave it open till next time.
No, I think we just leave everybody hanging for another month with the 5 siege question. And,
Keep our listener in tenterhooks.
and just bring in the potentially, if only they knew it was their Eurovision winning music.
Question. Comment les voir? Question. Le trou est sans fond? Question. La légende le dit? Question. Elle dit aussi? Question. C'est une maladie? Question.
I just want to check that. For 1187,
Yes.
1382, 1529,
Yes,
1617,
yes,
1936. Okay.
correct.
Good.
Send me a
Okay.
WhatsApp afterwards.
Yeah, Dave. Yeah, I'm not sure anybody's taking that this seriously, but it's you finally. At episode number 88, someone's taking the quiz seriously. It's a new
Now, somebody once actually emailed me some answers. Only once or twice has it happened.
Yeah, no, we need to beat that out of people.
What,
Really,
listeners?
Listeners.
Yeah,
It's
our
good.
listener.
Downloaders. It's all good.
It must be a lurker because it wasn't James in Finland. It was somebody else.
It wasn't James. Yeah, let's see how we're going to do. This might fire us up there. If you've included any Baltic or Scandinavian countries in that list, Andy, that could really boost us up the Finnish.
No. The only clue
charts.
the only clue I'll give you is none of them are in the UK. So
Right.
I can truthfully say Le Royaume-Uni, nul point.
Nul point. Good, excellent. All right. Well, let's have a quick run around and see what's coming up in the next month or so. I guess gaming, painting, buying, all that sort of malarkey. Simon, what about you? Have you got you're just still jet lagged from coming back from Oz?
It was only a 27-hour flight. It wasn't that long.
Minor detail, right? Minor detail.
So I'm busy working on the Arabs, just for something completely different. I did do some purchases because one of my brother-in-laws lives in America, and he's coming over to say g'day and for a few other things. So since someone's coming over from America, it's like, any chance of you bringing some Curacao miniatures over for me?
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
So not that I need any more Renaissance. So I went to the Curacao website.
Yeah.
And I bought a bunch of their late 17th century generals and some of the funkier mounted, like, so I could do the Three Musketeers and some of their quite cute figures. I was half debating about buying more pike and shot because, let's face it, do I need any more pike and shot? But it was just starting to get a little bit too expensive in there. By the time you bought enough to buy all the army and all the options as well. So
Yes.
So I got that, and then the two armies I've got to really think through is I'm going to Birmingham and then to Rome. So trying to decide what army shall I take to Rome and see if I can spend at least almost all the competition not in the naughty room, unlike last time. And hopefully do something better than barely mid-table mediocrity. So
that is a big challenge, isn't it? Because it's like Rome is 6 games, and this year I've been really happy to take a different army to every competition and get stuff on the table and the rest of it. But Rome, you're kind of traveling a long way, and it was funny.
You don't want to get there and find you've got a shit army.
You don't want to get there and find you've got a shit army, which is part of it. But it, all the competitions I've been happy to win, lose or draw. It doesn't. I just want to put stuff on table and be playing people. But this one, it feels like everybody else there, there's a sort of social contract when you go to a competition. And I think we've been really lucky with lucky's the wrong word, with AGLG, everybody, because the games are shorter and it's, we're all older and more mature. There's kind of we're all here to play the game first and then someone wins, which is nice kind of vibe. And you helping new players into it and all that sort of thing is going on. But I think Rome is because it's there's not going to be any newbies there, and everybody is going, but this is the one where not taking seriously in a RC I'm going to be a knobhead way, but you want to give people a good game in a way.
Yeah, you're not bringing.
Is that just me? Do you want to bring your A game to it?
Because some of the competitions like you and I have talked about over the last year, it's why do we choose that army? Well, because I painted it in lockdown 2 and it's coming on the table. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. But I think Rome is sort of like the first proper competition in the way we used to think of competitions, where you want to bring a proper hard army. You want to be able to give it to everybody. And it's not just going to be something crazy based on, well, I painted these 12 levy. How do I get an army based around 12 levy units?
Exactly.
I think what you're trying to say is you don't want to sit there at the end of the week and say, well, the guy who won the competition, he smashed me. And the guy came second, he smashed me as well. And the guy came third, I gave him all the 100 points as well. So that, you're the bunny that gave everybody the top 3 players the wins.
Or be like me, who brought a samurai army to Rome and had all of his mediocre troops in one command, and everyone went, "Oh, look, that's the point sink and got absolutely torn to pieces because I completely designed a stupid army.
I think
Yeah,
so.
it did.
Samurai.
I think other competitions, if I've come almost bottom of some competitions in the last year, and taken armies that just didn't work, and I've still enjoyed doing it. But I think Rome, I wouldn't enjoy taking an army that doesn't work because then you'd be letting down other people who've gone there because it's a slightly more competition orientated thing. You'd be whereas if you went to another competition and you were over competitive, you'd be letting people down because you'd be being a bit of an arse. I don't think it's being over competitive, but you've just got to bring your A game to it. So
yeah.
I think the Aztecs are a bad idea.
I'd really consider bringing.
I think
the
there's
Aztecs.
a decent army in there because there's some chap in France has won open competitions with them, isn't it?
That's Ben de Rostat who.
Because you've proven. Sorry, I was just saying, you proved it, or you mentioned in Germany when you went to Braubach, the guy brought the medium swordsman army, all medium foot, and he did stockingly well. Yeah. So it does depend on the matchups and the terrain, but we have seen competitions won by. We've looked at the army going, how did you win with all medium swordsman and 2 light foot? But see, if you know the army correctly,
I think there's people probably thinking that about Dave Allen's mediocre longbow medieval Scots army from this weekend.
That was a bonkers little 15 mediocre longbow.
Yeah, insane.
Or something mad like that.
I smashed it to pieces in the practice game on the Thursday beforehand.
Oh no!
And then he turned up and won the competition.
Yeah, okay.
Because he learned.
What's that about?
So, look, maybe we should do a list pod. Start the list pods again and have a look at that at some point.
I think it could be good fun to do a list pod for the Rome, because I think we're all, because it's purely an open period, and they've got rid of that ridiculous.
Yeah,
you've got to use it's a dual army list, and you've got to use each army at least twice, or 3 times. You've got dual armies, but you can use the same one all the way through.
Yep.
And being purely open, it's going to be interesting to see what crazy ideas we bring.
Yeah.
I think the difference this time is going to be, we the last 2 worlds we've been to, it's been about elephants, hasn't it? It's been about.
We think of at the Worlds in 19, Dan had Ottoman Turks.
Yeah.
Daryl had Byzantine. Sorry, Harrison had Byzantines, and there was some other weird army. There was an Arab conquest at the top. Yeah, the elephants did knock out, but I remember there was a big chunk of them. They were like in the top 10 and below, but I don't think there was any of them in the top 5.
Well, no, hang on, because Iñaki won in Spain with the.
Yeah, but we're talking about the Worlds though in Rome.
This is the Worlds. He won the Worlds in Spain with his stupid elephant army. Then there's the Chinese, the Yuan Chinese with elephants won one, didn't it? And then it was Timurid's Harrison against, I think it was the other Timurid, the Spanish.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. Because Timurid's has been a bit nerfed now, hasn't it? So that should be.
With times, I reckon. So I think elephants are out, but interesting to see.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be very interesting.
I think obviously I'm not going, but I think you should choose an army that you just really enjoy using.
No, I think that's part of it.
I want to do decent with, and
maybe actually put it a different way. I've gotten out of practice of using an army that that I feel that you're driving well in a way. I'm using armies, and my enjoyment's from putting new stuff on table and doing wacky things.
Well, we all do after lockdown. You painting
exactly, and now it's saying I want to get back into using an army that kind of feels well balanced and is interesting to play and gives me a chance against everything. I don't want it to be one dimensional, or I almost don't want it to be too good. And I'm really tempted to take the Khurasanians that I took a few years ago, because they're kind of a subpar Ghaznavid, but they've got their flaws, but you have to work to get something out of it. I think that's the sort of vibe that I want to get. So, it might be those again, or it might be something else. I'm just not sure.
I'll put a suggestion in the chat.
Yeah, no, that could be an interesting way, but I think there's a competition to be able to use that at coming up in August anyway. So might be.
What's the theme for Birmingham? Is that open as well?
Yeah, Birmingham's basically the same as it's a 2-list thing, just like the World's Open, but using 225 points instead of 200, so that if you want to disguise what your list is, you can do a bit. You don't have to use exactly the same thing because you might play the same person again.
Have you told people what date they need to put their lists in for Birmingham?
Not explicitly, but they're a nice bunch of people, and I'm sure they'll all be really good.
Yeah.
So it'll be fine.
Okay.
So that should be grand.
Kind of open then.
Yeah, it's open. Yeah.
I think I'll take the Aztecs then.
Definitely take the Aztecs. You're good.
Yeah.
Give it a go. It'll all be fab.
Say Aztecs with Atlatl and Aztecs
Yep.
without Atlatl.
Yep. As we schlep up to Birmingham on the train. So okay. Well, I think I don't know. Anybody else got anything they've got coming up? Dave. Oh, actually, we've talked about the events coming up. Is there anything else you've got painting, Dave, other than you're just finishing the Aztecs and then
I've got to get knuckled down and finish my little
your commission work?
helping somebody else's paints and armors. So.
Yeah. Tamsin, what about you? Are you going to add some population to your expanding cityscape?
Yeah, probably. I've got a few figures left over, left to paint up from the judge. For sort of judge trip. It's a couple of judges and a couple of bikes. So,
okay. And get it all on table sometime. We're going to we'll have a mass like trial of this rule set and stuff down the club. You're going to bring it all down and set it up, and we're going to have a live podcast special or something, video and everything.
Yeah, well, I guess I could at some point. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Maybe that's a Sunday plan. All right. And Mr. Finkel, what about you? Because you painted like the arms on 5 figures or something. But you've been cracking away through this, actually, haven't you?
Well, doing bits of it. Yeah. So I'm painting the museum hoplites, and I've got about 4 units of the guys to do. So I'm going to try and do them as Spartans, and that will be after that. I think
homoerotic nudity, that sort of thing.
No, not really. No, they've
not in your kitchen. No, that's not really the right place, is it? No.
No, the missus might get slightly upset if I try any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and after that, it's probably painting little aeroplanes that I've been sitting in the cupboard for years on end.
Okay, little aeroplanes.
Maybe it'll 1/600 things. I've done Battle of Britain planes. British and Germans, and I've got some like Western Desert and Mediterranean types, including some Italian biplanes and things like that.
Okay,
so all that kind of stuff.
Oh God, and then there'll be a new set of Cold War Commander out soon as well.
Yep. So that comes out at Partisan in this month.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking of going up to Partisan.
Oh, okay, Tamsin, you might have to be a drug mule for us.
Yeah.
Helen.
Partisan's in Newark. It's
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a great show and venue, but it's as I found out going to Hammerhead, it's impossible to get there from Newark railway station because there's only like one cab in Newark, and he's not there when you need him, which is a bit of a bugger. But if you've got a car, it's a fantastic venue. We drove past it. We went to the Air Museum, didn't we, on the way up to York last year? Yeah, that was Newark. So you got the sexiest road in Britain to get there and stop off at an American diner. So there's all sorts of adventures you can have on the road to Newark, probably more than we had on the road to Browback, I suspect.
I think they've got an English Civil War centre there. They've sort of done a lot of stuff there because apparently it kept being besieged, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know something I need. If anybody knows where to find some Aztec ruins or Aztec,
I saw some. Yeah, I did see some the other day. Can't remember.
Funky Aztec camp.
Right. Okay. Well, we will. Well, maybe we'll appeal to listeners if you know of a place to find an Aztec camp. In fact, actually, no. I might be able to flog you one, Dave.
Ooh.
I might be able to flog you. It might not necessarily be Aztec, but you'll definitely want it. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll go see if I can find it.
Yeah, I certainly 28 mil. I could point you in the direction of a few things, but 15. I think I've seen some 15 mil.
It sounds like the kind of stuff Iota would do, doesn't it?
Aztec type structures, but I can't.
I found some guy who's doing
Right.
something.
Here you go, Dave. What
No,
about
no,
this?
Yeah, but that's,
Yeah,
that's
it's 28.
That's
That-
not
that-
it.
That's
just
15
not it.
mil.
No, that's just not what you want. What you want is a stone head
Yeah.
Ah, yes,
that's
him.
the one.
and
Oh,
the eyes light up. Why do you
no,
not
no,
want
no,
that?
that's the one. That's it.
That's the thing, isn't it? The eyes light up.
Yeah.
You've got to have that.
No, that's
Is that
Yeah.
not South Sea Islands, Tim?
I
I've
will,
got it like
I will pass that to you next time I see you.
Yeah.
The light
No,
up.
that's-
snake.
Not just South Sea signs. I think
Yeah.
sort of the stone heads was the Olmecs.
Oh,
No, it's the
yeah,
Aztecs. We've decided it's the
Toltec.
bloody Aztecs. It's that cool. And in fact, if you really want, you could drill back out the hole that I filled in at the top and then fill the bottom with lighter fuel. And when you do that, a flame will shoot out the top of it because it's actually a tiki bar cigarette lighter, gas lighter from that I got in Key West in Florida, and then painted to look like Aztec malarkey. But yeah.
I'll have to dismantle the camp that I've actually created and recreated.
Well, there'll be room for this in it. You know, it's just glowing red eyes. It's the best thing in the world.
It's as good as Paul Johnson's Spartacus camp, which he's got like it's sort of from Rome. He's got this like snow globe from Rome.
Yes, yeah.
The top of it, and it spins round and sort of things.
I'm just like Spartacus in the real world. Good.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Right then. Well, look. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for listening. I'm not quite sure when we'll reconvene. We're sort of getting into holiday season, but I suppose there's always a possibility we might have a conversation, three of us, on a train up to Birmingham, then try and record it and chuck that out at the beginning of June. Is that end of May? I can't remember.
Yep, at beginning of June, the first weekend of June, and then the weekend after, we're off to Roma,
which probably some live stuff from Rome as well, or recorded live in Rome, and
around the pool.
Yes, sat around the pool in our speedos, and horrendous thought. Peter's not going, is he? No, possibly is. We need to be careful on that.
Oh
one.
no, you don't want to see a full badger in.
You don't want to see a full badger
in
full badger and budgie smugglers. No, that would be quite frightening. And I would endeavour to get I'll endeavour to get the match reports from Germany and the road trip reports out in the next week or so as well, as I've got a bit of poolside holiday that I can sneak in and do a bit of painting. So from our five-parter today, thank you all, and goodbye. See you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye.
And I've managed to rebarrel all three of these bloody Shermans.
That's a good evening's work, isn't it?
Okay, this is obviously completely impossible to see, but the barrels being what's the name is bristles, I appear to have managed to make a muzzle brake in 10mm just by putting a bit more paint in there. It actually doesn't look too bad. I would almost imagine there was a muzzle brake there deliberately if I was looking, and they won't break, because losing two of them whilst I'm just talking to you is just fucking turmoil, isn't it?
This means war.
Yeah, that's the little chubbies. Chubby. With their
quite cute.
legs. Legs.
Nice legs.
Look at that. You can see some...
They got no faces.
No, they actually have. It's just my painting's not very good.
This means war.